Hey, welcome back to another episode of Marriage Talk with Queenbee. If you are new to my channel, thank you for clicking on my video today. And if you are returning, welcome back. So in this video today, we are going to be talking about in-laws. So my question to you guys, is it important? Is it important to you to have a healthy relationship with your in-laws? So I'm going to start off by saying, I am married. And if you guys watch my previous videos, me and my husband been together quite some time. So of course, I have met my in-laws, and me and my husband marriage, our relationship is a very unique one. It's not a typical everyday regular marriage couple situation. So I'm not going to go into how and when I met my in-laws, but it was left up to me to go and meet, to decide to go meet my in-laws. And I'm just going to say, once I build up the courage enough to do so, I'm very happy that I did, because my in-laws that I have met made me feel at home, and they remind me of my family. So when I go around my in-laws, I feel like I'm at home, basically. So for me, it is very important to have a healthy relationship with my in-laws. Now, do we communicate on an everyday basis? No. Do we see each other every day? No. We have an understanding, okay? We have an understanding that the common person that makes us come together is my husband, and we all love him, so that makes me love his family, not only because of him, but because I got to know them myself as well, and I know that they care and love for me too, but like I said, we don't communicate with each other every single day. We don't see each other every single day. But when we do see each other, when we do talk, it's always good times. For me, I'm going to say this. It's very important for me to have a healthy relationship with my in-laws, because I would never want to put my husband in the middle, or a middle of me and his family. Yes, I should come first because I'm his wife, but at the same time, I would never make him feel that he would have to choose between his family and me, or between me and his family. You know what I mean? So I would never, play him against his family or anything like that, because I am all about family, and I know I wouldn't want him to feel like he has to, make me choose between my family and him, because he is all about family as well. So with that being said, it is very important for the both of us to have a healthy relationship with our, with each one's family. But that doesn't say that we don't have boundaries. That doesn't say that we don't draw the line if we needed to do that. But I am blessed to say that we never had to do that, because for the most part, my side of the family, the ones that do know my husband, have met my husband, have talked to my husband, and support me and my husband on this journey from day one, they never really meddle in our business to the point where we felt like we needed to say, hey, this is between him and I, and we need you to butt out type of situation. We never had. It's never that way. Everybody is grown. Everybody allow grown folks handle their business, and I can say that that's for his side of the family as well. One thing I can say is, I know my husband said, when he first, I guess, knew that he wanted to propose to me, or he knew that I was going to be his wife, he had a conversation with his mother. I don't know it word for word, but I do remember this part when he asked her, like, what do you think, like, about him asking me to marry him? Man, listen, when I say that I respected his mother answer, like, to the T, I knew, I was like, yeah, she's going to be the best mother-in-law in the whole wide world. And like I said, we don't talk every day, but she reminds me of my mother, you know what I'm saying? But she based her answer was, you got to live with her. So that's your decision. I can't tell you, you know what I'm saying, if it's right or wrong. Now, if you do, I'll support you, you know? And to me, that was the best answer. The best answer in the world, because at the end of the day, she is absolutely right. When he comes home, he got to live with me, and I have to live with him. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying that family don't matter on the outside, or, you know, not on the outside, but I'm not saying that family don't matter, but they do. But at the same time, when we're married, we're together, we're one, you know. So but yeah, so if you guys, you know, please answer down in the comments, you know, if it's important to you and your significant other to have a healthy relationship with your in-laws. You know, I know there's some married couples out there that suffer from not having a healthy relationship with their in-laws. You do have some in-laws that like to meddle in married couple business, and you have some, you know, husbands or wives, you know, how can I say this in a nice way, they don't know how to set boundaries when it comes to their family, you know, and they allow their family to meddle in their business and in their household affairs, and that causes friction between you and your husband or your wife, you know. And that goes to my last video that I posted about keeping the peace in your relationship. And if you don't know how to keep the peace in your relationship, it's going to go downhill. That's just my opinion. And if you disagree, and that's fine. We're not going to always disagree. We're not going to always agree. But one thing I can say is that if you don't set boundaries, you know, with your family, with your in-laws, or whoever you consider as your family, you know, when it comes to your wife or your husband, trust me and believe, your household is not going to be a happy household. And that is the main goal. You want to have a happy household. You know, I would never say disrespect your in-laws or disrespect your family for your significant other, but there's ways that you can be very respectful and tell them in a very respectful way, mind your business. That's just straight up. Just mind your business, you know, because sometimes people just need to be told, mind your business, you know. But like I said, you can say it in a respectful way, because like I said, you have some family members that just feel, you know, they can just voice their opinion and what's going on in your relationship. And another thing too, how you can make that happen, or how that can, you know, start where the family members feel like they can just say and do, is because either the wife or the husband share their marriage business. You cannot share your marital business on the outside, because your family is going to look at your significant other in a totally different light. You know, you're going to be upset with your significant other and frustrated and want to vent to your family member about what's going on. And then tomorrow you guys are made up and just all happy-go-lucky now. And then your family is still looking at your husband or your wife side-eyed because they still remember what happened yesterday. You understand? So we can forgive our husbands and our wives easily, you know, because that's our husband and wife. We love them. You know, we didn't like each other yesterday, but today we love each other. Whereas the family member is like, I haven't forgave him yet. I haven't forgave her yet. You know what I mean? And this really not their place to even forgive, because, you know, whatever wasn't done to them, we're just venting to you because, you know, as humans, we need to vent. As humans, sometimes we tell our business to the wrong people, you know, and sometimes telling your family your business is the wrong people, you know, because they love you. And some families tend to just see it from your side of, you know, see your point of view, okay, and not see it overall like this is, you know, this is my family, this is my family, y'all both are my family, and I'm going to see you on both sides, because everybody has a side, you know, but there's always the truth, you know, and that's the main side, you know. So yeah, if you set boundaries early on, you know, keep your marital business in your household, you know, resolve your issues and, you know, whatever frustrations, anger, whatever between you and your husband. It has nothing to do with anybody on the outside. Because I'm gonna tell you, I made that mistake in past relationships, and I, you know, vented and, you know, not thinking that, you know, that family member is going to still be upset with my significant other at the time. And I'm just like, but we're over that, but they're not. So it's like, now you already fixed one problem with your significant other. Now you got to get your family member back on track. And it's like, no, I shouldn't have to do that. Well, you wouldn't have to do that if you would have never opened up your mouth and, so I definitely had to learn the hard way. Sometimes, yes, it is a situation that you do need to tell your family member, because it could be an abusive situation or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could be a situation where you're in danger and you need help to get out, and that's something different. But when it's just something that's not harmful, that's not, threatening your life or the next person's life, then you should keep your marital business to yourself. There's other situations like, there's some husbands that don't know how to tell their mothers no, you know what I mean? And it's like, if your wife already said X, Y, and Z, but your mom's, and she comes in and now she wants to change the whole dynamic of whatever you guys discuss. I'm just throwing out scenarios out there, and your husband can't tell his mama no. But it's like, if your wife don't feel comfortable with a certain situation, whatever it is, you got to be man enough to tell your mama, my wife come first. And some people, let me tell you, I know a lot of people, when they listen to this video, watch this video, and they hear this part, they're not going to agree to that, because we have been born into society or community, and mama come first. But once you're married, no, mama don't come first anymore. Your wife comes first. Now, like I said, you don't disrespect your mama. No, I ain't telling you to disrespect your mama. But when it comes to your wife and your household, your wife is the woman of the house. Your mama is the guest of your house. That's the difference. So whatever you and your wife decided for your household, that's what you go with. You don't go with what mama said to do when she decided to come and visit, and now she wants to change the whole situation. No, ma'am, that's not how you do it. Because at the end of the day, you did not marry your mama, you married your wife, okay? And that's who is the woman of your household, and that's who you go with, okay? Because once your mama leaves to go back home, like my mother-in-law said to my husband before we got married, you got to live with him. You got to live with her, So yeah, so with that being said, yes, you may have to set boundaries when it comes to your own parents. Yes, you're going to have to do that. And I know for some of us it's hard, because we don't want to hurt mama, we don't want to hurt daddy. I understand that. But you know what? You gotta put on your big girl panties, and you gotta put on your big man drawers, okay? and get it together, because happy home, happy wife, happy husband. That's a whole nother topic. Happy wife, happy husband, happy home. That's it. That's all that matters. So let me know what you guys think about this video, this topic. I just wanted to come quickly and just discuss my thoughts and my opinions on it. Like I said, for me, it's very important to have a healthy relationship with my in-laws. But at the same time, set boundaries. Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to draw the line when you need to. And don't be afraid to tell them, mind your business. And don't be afraid to say no when you need to say no. If it's going to keep the peace and the drama and the chaos at a minimum, you got to know how to weed those people out, because you marry her, you marry him, and that's who you're gonna have to answer to. That's just what it is. But anyway, I thank you guys for tuning in with me today on another episode of Marriage Talk with Queenbee. Again, please subscribe to the channel, join the family. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. If so, put a thumbs up. Share my video, please, to whoever you think that may be blessed by this video. And I will see you lovely people in the next video. Bye.